Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in this video I am going to be sharing with you my nose job experience. This video is mainly just to help you guys if any of you basically are considering getting a nose job, what I went through, like the cost, just everything, and also just like any tips or bits of like advice, just so you're heading in the right direction. Okay, so I'm gonna get the questions up on my phone. First of all, why did I want to get a nose job? Okay, so I wanted a nose job for as long as I can remember. I can literally remember being like at secondary school, all through secondary school, just always wanting a nose job. I always had been unhappy with my nose, especially my side profile. I feel like it did stick out quite a bit on the bridge, and also it did like droop quite a lot. And yeah, people would, call me Squidward, which is a bit hurtful, but I can take it. It definitely affected my confidence. I'd say that I didn't really feel attractive within myself because I was just unhappy with my nose, and I'd been unhappy with it for so many years, and I just thought, do you know what, I'm finally going to do it. And it also doesn't help that everyone in my family has like really small cute noses, and I was just the one who had a very, very big nose compared to everyone else in my family. Okay, so how my family reacted. I was quite nervous to tell my parents about wanting a nose job, but to be honest, I'd spoke about it so much and complained enough about my nose that I think that they kind of knew that I wanted to get one done anyway, but I think it was just more the reality that I was actually going about doing it. I think my dad was just really scared in case it didn't go the way I expected it to go, and he was just a bit worried about how I would feel if it didn't go the way it was supposed to. It's a scary idea at the thought of it going wrong or not going the way it's supposed to, and there are horror stories out there, but it's one of those things, if I wanted it bad enough, I just had to put those thoughts aside and just go for it basically. Once my parents came to terms with the fact that I was definitely getting it done, they were very supportive. My dad came with me to my first few consultations with the first surgeon I saw, and yeah, he was very supportive throughout the whole entire thing. I would say the hardest part of the whole experience was finding a surgeon. It was so stressful. Like, you think you found someone who looks decent, and then the more research you do on the internet, you start seeing bad things, and it's just like it is just really hard to try and find someone who looks legitimate. I did go to one place first, and I had like 3 consultations with this one surgeon, which I had to pay for. But I was happy seeing that surgeon, and then I can't explain it, but I just had a really weird gut feeling with him. I just felt like he didn't really understand exactly what it was that I wanted. I kept trying to explain to him, and he just couldn't really see it, and it was putting doubts in my head. And as soon as I started having doubts in my head, I just thought, I really don't think that it's the right idea to go through with this one. I went for 2 consultations in London, all within one day. I had a consultation at Maya. I was really happy with the way it went, so that was free of charge, and I was with a patient coordinator. That's like the first consultation that you have. You basically just explain to them what it is that you're after, and they recommend a surgeon who they think would be best suited for what it is that you'd like. So yeah, I went there, and then straight after I went for a consultation at Transform. Again, that consultation went well, but I was leaning more towards Maya. I just felt like the consultation went better, and I was just getting better vibes. I arranged my second consultation with Maya, and in that consultation, that was when I met Dr. Fratty. Straight away, I just felt like he knew exactly what it is that I wanted. Like, I didn't even have to say it. He told me exactly what it was that he was going to do, what he wanted to do. So yeah, he took photos, and then he sort of just really quickly just tried to show me like an after picture, just to show me what he was planning in his head like to do. Yeah, I feel like it went really well, the consultation. I knew straight away that I wanted him to be the person doing my surgery. I'd heard good reviews about him. Just one thing to remember: no matter what, you are going to see bad reviews. It's like, just remember, if you're happy with your surgery, the chances are that you're not going to go on the internet and say, how good your experience was. I mean, I didn't. I haven't posted anything on any website. about how happy I was. Whereas if you've had a bad experience, that's obviously when you're going to go straight onto the internet saying like how awful it was. And like sometimes the reviews that they're saying are bad, you know, you don't really know the background to it. They could have completely unrealistic expectations. I know the surgeon, they can only work with what you've got. So if you do have like a massive nose, you're not going to be able to, you know, get a tiny little dainty nose. That's just not the way it is. They can only work with what they've got. So they can only improve what's already there. They can't just make a tiny nose out of something that's a lot bigger. I mean, obviously to an extreme, if there's like loads of them about how awful that place is, then that's different. But if it's someone just saying that it's not what I expected or something, I just would bear in mind that people can have quite unrealistic expectations. I mean, I've got to admit, I did the same thing in my first consultation. I sort of went in with a picture of Angelina Jolie and I was like, can you just make me into her? So yeah, I didn't quite come out looking like Angelina Jolie, but I am a lot more confident with my nose. I mean, it isn't, you know, tiny, but I'm so much more confident with it. So I'll just like turn to the side. So much more confident with my side profile, like especially here, because that was the sort of angle where my nose would like really stick out. Yeah, so after I spoke with Dr. Fratty and I was, you know, happy that I wanted him to perform my surgery, I booked in the date. So this was a few years ago. It was actually, I think it was 3 years ago this summer that I had my surgery done. And I had to put a deposit down on that day. I think it might have been about like £500. I went back once more before my surgery date to have like a medical, so just make sure that I'm, you know, fit for surgery basically. Yeah, that was it, and that was with like a nurse, so I didn't see Dr. Fratty again until the surgery date. I know people, if you want to, obviously you can see him as many times as you want before your actual surgery, but I personally just didn't feel the need to. I felt confident with him doing the procedure, so I didn't really feel like I had to see him again before my surgery. So I think I was like 4th, so you have to wait for quite a long time. So, and in that time I do things like a pregnancy test just to make sure that you're obviously not pregnant. And yeah, and Dr. Fratty, he did come and see me before the actual surgery. So whilst I was in the room, I was sharing my room with another girl, so it's just us two in there. Yeah, and then he came to see me, and then that was it really. He just like reassured me, made sure that everything was okay, just went over again what he was going to do. So he just told me he was going to make my nose a bit straighter here, do the bone, and also just like the tip of my nose just to make it like a bit more up. Yeah, he just explained to me everything that he was going to do, and that was it really. And I was just like, I was so excited to I remember like the excitement of going in and just knowing that when I wake up I'm not going to have my nose. Like, it was the best feeling ever. It's so exciting. Okay, so when I woke up from the surgery, I didn't actually realise at the time that I was actually allergic to codeine. When I woke up for my surgery, the anaesthetic made me feel really, really sick. Like, I was throwing up constantly. It also didn't help because I had to keep my head up because of my nose. And when I was being sick, I was having to like put my head down, so more blood was coming out of my nose. So yeah, it was really horrible when I first woke up just because of the sickness. I wasn't in any pain. My nose was absolutely fine. I wasn't in any pain at all. It was just the drowsiness and being just constantly sick. And it was awful because I felt really bad because there was another girl in the room who was absolutely fine. Like, she woke up looking amazing. And there was me just like throwing up like left, right and centre. You can stay there for the evening, obviously at an extra cost, but I wanted to go home on the same day. I always like being in my own bed, especially if I'm not feeling very well. I didn't really see the point in paying such extra money to stay overnight when I can just go home. I had a lift home. I wouldn't recommend getting on the train home or anything like that, or any public transport, because you do feel awful like when you wake up, just like really drowsy. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't recommend getting public transport. One thing I do so strongly recommend is one of those V-shaped pillows, like it goes around your like head. It is such a godsend. You have to sleep like propped up, right? That is actually the only thing that I found annoying about afterwards, just the fact that you can't sleep, just because I always lay completely flat. Like, sometimes I don't even use pillows, like I sleep like a baby. So it was quite hard for me trying to sleep with my head propped so upright. So yeah, a V-shaped pillow is so useful. The only thing that's uncomfortable is the fact that obviously you have a plaster right over your face and like tissue under my nose, and that was the only thing, just the uncomfortableness of having, you know, a plaster right over your face, because all I wanted to do was like itch, and it was really annoying. So with the swelling, I wasn't actually too bad. I've seen people who have had like such worse swelling than what I did. It was mainly just on my left eye. I'll also put a picture in for you so you can see it. Yes, it was mainly on just one side of my face more than the rest. I'd say my worst swelling was on day 2. And that was like the most uncomfortable thing, I think, was my eyes being so swollen. Basically just buy lots of ice packs. That is my strongest recommendation. Buy ice packs and a good pillow, and I think you're pretty much sorted, really. I didn't take any like paracetamol or any painkillers because I literally wasn't in any pain. The only thing I ever used was ice packs. I know some people use like different ointments and stuff like to help with their bruising, but I just let it heal naturally. Yeah, so you have your cast on for the week. By the 5th and the 6th day, I was so itchy underneath my cast. It was unbelievable. Like, that was probably the worst part. Like the 5th or the 6th day, just wanting to itch my face so badly. So yeah, I got my cast taken off the week later. I was so nervous, but I could already tell that I liked my nose because I could sort of see from the cast that it went in like a nice, you know, like a nice like slope. So I sort of knew I was going to be happy with it. When I took the cast off, it didn't hurt at all. It sort of just was a bit like someone's tugging on your face. Obviously it's really, you know, stuck down to your nose. It was such a relief when the cast came off, honestly. Just like actually having air on your like face. It was so nice. But yeah, don't worry if you don't like your nose straight away. Just remember that it's going to be so swollen. I was really happy with my nose straight after the cast was taken off, which I was surprised at, because I know a lot of people on the day of the cast removal aren't happy with their nose, but I was really happy with mine already. It was just a swelling. It was really bad swelling in between my nose. Like, I literally looked like an avatar, but I was aware of the swelling. So just make sure you keep in mind it's going to be so swollen still. So once you take that cast off, that is not the finished product. And it does take up to a year to see the final results. So obviously after like a few months, I think that's most of the swelling done. I'll say like 3 or 4 months, most of the swelling has gone, but then the remainder of the year it's just like the slightly other bits left of swelling that goes down, and then after a year you're pretty much like swelling is completely gone, and that is your final result. So yeah, just bear it in mind. I went like in a bit of a love-hate relationship with my nose. Like, one day I'd like it and I'd be like, no, I'm really unhappy with it, like what have I done? And then I'd like it again, and as soon as the swelling all went, I was so happy with my nose. So yeah, you will have like an up and down relationship with it. But promise you, just give it time. Time is the healer. Okay, so with the scarring, I had a closed surgery, so I didn't have any scars like on the outside of my nose. I know open surgery, they do open your nose like from here, just under the nostril, just like by the nostrils in between. So I know some people do get like a scar just there if they're having open surgery, but I had closed surgery, so it's actually done in the nostrils. So I have the most tiniest scars, like right inside of my nose, that you literally can't see, unless I really look and like really put like a torch on my nose. So yeah, I had a closed surgery. I don't have any scars. There were like stitches up my nose, but they fell out naturally. That's definitely something to be mindful of when you are cleaning your nose, because you will get a lot of like stuff up there. Like, honestly, I don't know why, but I feel like I had so much of it. Like, you'll just constantly get so much disgusting gross stuff up your nose. But be careful if you're using like a cotton bud or anything to get it out. Be so careful, because you don't want to pull out any stitches, because you will have stitches in your nose. So with the cost, bearing in mind this was 3 years ago, so I actually think the price has gone up since then, but I paid £5,400. I paid for it completely myself. I took out a loan with the bank, so I was paying monthly for, I think it's 13 months, and it's like a fixed payment every month. I know that a lot of cosmetic places do have a scheme with them, we can pay monthly with them, but I just found it easier to go through my bank. So yeah, I just took a loan out of my bank basically. and I do think the prices have gone up since I had mine done. I have seen recently people have been paying £8,000. I don't know why it's gone up that much, but I think that is kind of the going rate at the moment. But yeah, with the aftercare, I saw Dr. Fratty like twice. I was supposed to see him another time, but I didn't feel the need to see him that final time because I didn't have any problems, any complications. So yeah, I didn't see him for the final time, but it's just basically to check that everything looks okay, that you're healing properly. Anyway, that is my nose job experience. I hope you appreciate me sharing my experience with you. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe so you don't miss out on any other videos. And yeah, if there are any questions that I missed out, please leave them in the comments below. And yeah, if there are any other videos that you'd like me to do, then also please leave them in the comments below. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye!